Nonetheless, I dream of a day the Dolphins win a Super Bowl. Where will the parade be held? It might just go all across South Florida. And when they have.
So it will start in Miami and then end in West Palm?
Or maybe at Hard Rock Stadium. Yeah, West Palm. Or maybe we'll just make a huge loop around South Florida. But when they get on the stage and they take the mic, nobody wants to hear Mike McDaniel talk. It's going to take all day. Jalen Waddle doesn't say very much, so that won't take very long. Tua Tagovailoa is kind of a humble pie guy. It'll be all right. You know who everybody really wants to hear from. Please let this if become true. The Dolphins win the Super Bowl. Everyone, even my mother, big one in South Florida, I was going to say something else, wants to hear what Tyreek Hill will have to say. And he's no short on words. Tyreek Hill, though, let's talk the good first, because he's been running his mouth a little bit all the time. He was at a fan fest the other day, actually yesterday, and was asked about Jalen Ramsey and the whole trade situation. And you know what? Tyreek Hill trying to make it not a trade situation.
I'm going to hang out with Ramsey next week, man. So I'm going to get him back and go for the Chris, I'm getting the Ramsey back in the Dolphins jersey. I don't care what they say. Tampa, whatever. Yeah, we need Ramsey, dog. He's a dog. He's one of the best scorers in the league, man. A great leader, a great teammate, too, though. So that's what he doesn't get a lot of credit for, man. Because me and him both were on year 10, and we just need him on the Dolphins, man.
If you didn't hear all of it, basically Tyreek Hill saying, I'm meeting with Jalen Ramsey next week, and I'm going to try to convince him to come back and play for the Dolphins because he is a dog, he is a team leader, and we need him. And that is what I have been shouting for the past couple of weeks. We are better off if we can just hug it out, talk it out, and get Jalen Ramsey back with the Dolphins. You can't trade him and get any better, because you're going to get probably a 4th round if you're lucky, maybe a 5th round. You're not going to get much in return, and you're not going to get immediately better. You're going to get futurely better, which doesn't help you this year, especially Mike McDaniel, especially Chris Greer. The best thing for the Dolphins, and Tyreek Hill has at least recognized that, the best thing to do, hug it out, talk it out. Let's make things happen. I'm a big believer in having Jalen Ramsey back on this team. The only problem is, does the Dolphins brass, and even better yet, does Jalen Ramsey want to be back on this team? But maybe Tyreek Hill can work his magic. So Tyreek Hill, I applaud you on that last comment saying you're going to meet with Jalen Ramsey. He's an integral part of this team, and we want you. We need you. Let's do this. All right, now for Tyreek Hill running his mouth, and this is how Tyreek Hill being Tyreek Hill. At the Fan Fest, he was also asked about the Bills' defense. Now we know, Trevor, there's rivalries. You guys, you're a big Philadelphia Eagles fan. You know, you can't say nothing nice about the Dallas Cowboys or the Washington Commanders.
The New York Giants, mostly.
The New York Giants, you can bag on them. And Tyreek Hill, look, he's not totally out of the realm of bagging on teams. When asked about the Bills' defense, and I quote, "Whenever we play the Bills, those guys typically play cover 4 because they're a bunch of," and I'll leave out the expletive.
Bleeps, bleep, bleeps.
Bleep, 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 bleep. We've had enough bleeps on this show today, or in this radio station today. But whenever we play the Bills, those guys typically play cover 4 because they're a bunch of beeps. I like the trash talk. I like going at the Bills.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They're obviously playing cover 4.
They own your ass right now.
Yeah, no. So
sorry.
You calling them a bunch of you-know-whats. They obviously have a game plan that works. So also, let's not poke the bear. Tyreek, we got him in week 3. We could be 2-0 going into that game, because very realistic that we could win game 1, even though it's in Indianapolis against the Colts, because we don't know who their quarterback's going to be. I still think we're the better team, pound for pound. Week 2, you play the New England Patriots in Miami, and we know the Patriots are going through a transitional period. I like Vrabel as their coach, but week 2, probably still trying to
make sure Stephon Diggs doesn't have a pink bag of drugs right now.
Put Stephon Diggs on a boat on Saturday before the game. We'll be fine. So you could theoretically be 2-0 against the Bills. And how many years in a row do we go into the Bills game saying, yeah, we got this, we're going to change the narrative, and they spank us? So let's not poke the bear so much, Tyreek. Let's not poke the bear.
Don't poke the buffalo.
Yeah, let the buffalo sleep. So Tyreek Hill, I give you a thumbs up on the whole, we need to get Jalen Ramsey. He's a dog. We need him on this team. I agree. I don't know about talking noise.
Can I
to
just
the
give him a
Bills.
middle finger? Like, what are you doing?
I'll give you a thumbs down.
No, you don't get him thumb. You get a middle finger. Like, what the heck you doing over there?
I don't. No, not to Cheetah, man. Cheetah's my guy. He's my favorite player on the Dolphins. But you're kind of poking the Buffalo. They're doing that. Also, cover 4 seems to be a lot of people have done that to you. Kind of worked for other teams last year. They kind of seem to have figured you out. You're going to figure it out this year. And don't call them a bunch of you-know-whats because they own you. They can turn right around and say, "Oh, it's funny you call us that," because
I've been down here for 3 years. They've only beat the Dolphins. The Dolphins have only beat the Bills once in my lifetime.
it was a great
down
win
here.
too. It was a great comeback.
That was the only. And I was producing that game anyways.
Bills ran out of time, but we still won. Okay, so now here's where it gets a little stickier, and this one really gets sticky because I am a Dolphins fan. Do the post game, enjoy the Dolphins when they win. When they lose, I'm frustrated. Trevor is a Philadelphia Eagles fan. Kudos to you guys winning the Super Bowl. Obviously, the best team in football.
I could tell a
last year.
tone. I could tell a tone sometimes.
This is where it gets sticky. Former Dolphins offensive lineman Kendall Lamm. He is now a Philadelphia Eagle.
That's breaking news to me because I've not paid attention to anything. You got mad at me one day, like, be happy. I was like, all right, fine, I'm not going to care then.
He played here in Miami last year. He had some injuries nonetheless. He talked about, dare I say it, don't get mad at me. I'm being honest. Dolphins culture. I've gotten threats about don't use Dolphins culture next to each other, Dolphins and culture next to each other. Nonetheless, he talked about Dolphins culture. Now, the Dolphins, all this OTAs have said the culture is changing. We're locked in. We're going to be tough. We're going to be physical. We're going to be on time. We're going to be disciplined. We're going to be together. All for one, one for all. Last year was last year. Nothing seemed to work right. This year, totally different culture. Now, every year at this time, teams say all that stuff. I understand. Nonetheless, but they've made it an effort to say the culture is changing, on time, discipline, together. They're even trying to spend more time off the field to build camaraderie. That's the change in the culture we're trying to have. Because this is what Kendall Lamm said about last year's culture in the locker room. And I quote once again, I understand why the Eagles reached 2 Super Bowls in 3 years. Players are never late, never toxic. And after every practice, the room spends 15 minutes sharing personal struggles to stay mentally sharp. Something I never got with the Dolphins.
I never knew that. The only thing that was toxic was the head coach wanting to shave his head anyways and going after fans. But that's also the most funniest thing of all time.
Okay, if you weren't paying enough attention or you missed it or you want to hear it again, listen to it very closely. I'm going to give you a couple of seconds to kind of get your mind right, get your ears right. Maybe you're leaving the Florida Panthers parade and you're still kind of jamming Pink Pony Club in the background, but now focus in. You maybe listen to this on the Odyssey app. Turn the car radio down, turn the car radio up, whichever one has us on right now, because this is Kendall Lamm, a guy who didn't cause a lot of waves and was kind of one of the better guys on this team. This is what he recently said about Dolphins culture last year. He is now a Philadelphia Eagle. Here we go. I understand why the Eagles reached 2 Super Bowls in 3 years. Players are never late, never toxic, and after every practice, the room spends 15 minutes sharing personal struggles to stay mentally sharp. Something I never got with the Dolphins. Okay, I have no problem with the first part of that. It's the very, very end where he has to throw in something I never got with the Dolphins. You could have left that out. You're totally fine.
If you left that out, I'd been fine. I was like, cool, bud.
Cool.
Welcome to the Eagles.
We know the Eagles are a tight-run organization. We know they have a tough culture. We know that. Why throw the Dolphins in there? But now you also know that.
You have a target on your back now. You're gonna have ESP and every sports radio host after him now.
Now you know last year's Dolphins team, at least according to Kendall Lamm, people were late. People were late. I wonder who that was. People were toxic. I can only guess who those people were. And after every practice, the room spends 15 minutes sharing personal struggles to stay mentally sharp, meaning that this team did not have that, at least to Kendall Lamm.
Mm-hmm.
And Mike McDaniel's supposed to be known as this guy that's trendy and cool.
I thought he's more of a player's coach anyways.
Man.
It's a horrible look. And this is what you get with Stephen Ross, runs his team from New York City. And he just doesn't fly in all the time.
And Kendall Lamm is not an agitator. We know that of his time here in Miami. To say that, and then once again, to make it a point to throw in something I never got with the Dolphins means there was, at least last year, and maybe culturally, something very wrong with this team. Will they change it in this offseason? We shall see. At least they've addressed that they're going to try to change it. Now, trying to and doing 2 different things. Man.
It's a bad look for you guys.
Yeah, and like I said, Kendall Lamb's not an agitator. He's an
No.
offensive lineman. He's not one of these flashy guys. To say something like that, and he's not the only former Dolphin that's come out and talked about
Didn't
the
like
culture.
Deshaun Elliott say something too also?
Yeah.
I remember that one.
Yeah. So we shall see. All I got to say is
You better put up or shut up anyways.
All I
You're on my team now.
this culture needs to change. The Dolphins culture needs to change, or else there's going to have to be some real serious changes.
A wrecking ball of changes?
I'm talking about